All right, guys. Sorry about the wait, guy. Uh, I had to check some stuff on practice score real quick. This is AAR 3. Gonna be um, one of the bad ones. Primarily just because of the mental aspect of this. So this was a classifier. I'm an unclassified shooter. I got my USPSA number last week or whatever. I think I might have shot a classifier at a match years ago. But I didn't even know what a classifier was. I didn't know how you got classed as a shooter. I didn't understand the whole averaging of classifiers, and that in larger matches, you have normally one stage which is set up as a classifier. Sometimes they're, whatever. Somebody told me there's a match where every stage is a classifier. I just don't know. Being new to the sport, I just didn't understand. But after I got my USPSA number and I started looking into it, I realized the classifiers were a big deal. Especially because this directly impacts my business. Like, this was all part of my decision to do this. Like, I understood. And there were people that told me, like, dude, I'm not sure that you're really going to get any benefit from competing from a business standpoint. It's only going to give you the opportunity to make mistakes and give the internet, ammunition to talk crap about you or whatever, to put you down. And I was like, okay. All right, internet. This is something that I have to do. I have to do it. I can't explain to you my motivations, exactly, why. Why do people climb mountains? Because they're there. Dudes die on Everest all the time, but they climb them because they're there. And in my life, after I've gotten out of the military, I've lost a lot of sense of purpose, whatever. And nobody cares about what somebody could do last week or last month or last year or 5 years ago. I mean, there are people that will seek out your experience. But for most alphas, that are in their 20s and 30s, they are at the apex of their game. A lot of them don't understand what their life is going to be like in 20 years. So it's all about me performance. Like, dude, why can't you shoot as good as me? Why can't you, whatever? What have you done? What have you done lately? It's all about using those quantifiable metrics to be able to put somebody down. So you got to perform. You got to perform on demand. That is the bottom line. And I have not been pushing myself in a controlled stress environment in my own training. There's just no way to replicate it. And in the military, a lot of the time there were events that were not stressful by their nature, but the fear of the consequences or whatever created this self-induced stress. So the amount of stress that you're going to get out of competing is directly related to your drive as a human being. So if you're a dentist with an open class gun and you're just there to have fun and you don't give an F and nobody knows who you are, nobody cares, nobody's stalking you on practice score, nobody's going to ruin your dental business, there's no stress there for you. You're going to go there and smile and have fun. And you're like, I've totally missed that target twice, and it's a game. It's not serious. When you are hanging your hat in this industry and you're putting yourself out there, the fear of not performing well and having it, directly affect your family. Like it's very, very real. It's extremely real. And when we did the stage walkthrough with the stage match director or whatever, never mentioned that this was a classifier. Probably because most people that compete in this sport know what the stages are that are classifiers. So when they walk in and they're like, oh, paper and steel. Yeah, this is classifier number whatever. I didn't even have the database of I haven't even gone on the internet and pulled up a PDF file that shows all of the stages. Like I have no idea. Now my complete and total database of classifiers is this and some other one where you have targets in a row and the scoreable area gets smaller as the USPAs get closer to you. That's it. Like there could be 100 classifiers and I don't know 98 of them. So my ignorance is significant. So I stepped into this box, this bay, without a knowledge of what was happening until somebody said, oh yeah, this is classifier. And I was like, what? And like I said in the last video, my first stage that I did, I was supposed to be the first shooter, but I was still loading mags. But I stayed in that same firing order. Stage 2, I was second shooter. And stage 1, or stage 3, I'm the first shooter. So I walk into this and I am the rabbit for the squad, having never fired a qualifier. And knowing that however I did on this, it was going to establish me like in the rankings. Like when people started stalking me and be like, yep, there he is, Pressburg. Oh, look, he's a D-class shooter. Fuck that guy. Because that's not who I am. I mean, maybe it is who I am within the construct of this sport. So, but it's not indicative. It's not indicative of my raw performance to accurately fire a firearm. So they're not mutually exclusive. My resting heart rate was up to about 125. Check my heart rate monitor. Just standing there. I was at 125. So I could, checking in with my body physiologically, I was starting to ping bad. So I go get in the box, and having heard the course of fire explained to me during the deal, you've got two, IPSCs on the outside and 6 full-size poppers that are further back from them. Distance from the target box, not significant. I don't know. You guys can look on the internet and find what the distances for this stage are supposed to be. But that looked like they were about 7 yards out. Paper is array 1. Steel is array 2. This is a mandated wrists above shoulders drill. So USPSA changed the rules, something, whatever. Like I saw hands at the side and I thought that it started out as an IDPA thing, but like I literally didn't know when you put your hands at your side and when you stick your hands over your head for these different things. And the bottom line is that I guess it's based upon the course director or the stage planner's determination. But if no ready position is specified, then it's hands at the side or something, whatever. But when I did the dry firing the night before the match, I was like in catch-up mode. And so I started trying to do a little bit of research, and I just saw hands at your side was the most prevalent, whatever. So I did my one-shot draws and my mag changes from hands at my side, And then I go out there the next day, and sure enough, specified hands over your head. I used to shoot hands overhead a lot. As a matter of fact, all of my draws were either hands overhead or simulated rifle when I was in the military. I did not start hands at the sides until after I retired, and I saw that it was just becoming more prevalent or whatever. So I'm drawn from a different position that I did not dry fire for 3 hours the night prior. A little bit concerned about that, but whatever. And I decide that, I'm sorry, let me get back to the course of fire. So after you draw, you can shoot either array. There's a mandatory magazine change in between shooting arrays. So if I shoot paper first, before I shoot any steel, I have to do a mag change. If I need to go back and shoot paper, I must mag change again. Every time you switch arrays, you must conduct a mag change. Steel gets me excited, which is an AAR point that we will talk about. I don't take as much time aiming at steel as I do aiming at paper. And it's just one of those things culturally that I was learned that steel was accepting mediocrity. So I'm better at accepting mediocrity on steel than I am accepting mediocrity on paper. So what I didn't want to do was draw and get amped up and then have to throttle back and slow down. I would rather start slow and then go full retard, especially after some major gun handling. I didn't want to have to reload and then dial it into the alphas. So my decision, my stage plan was to draw, fire right, a pair, fire left, a pair, and that way I'm already oriented in the direction of the left popper. Mandatory mag change, gun back on target, and then run the plates left to right. Those of you that have ever shot before, like, whatever, speed or competition, whatever, you know that certain people are predisposed to go in a certain direction. A lot of times people will say strong hand firers can drive a gun left to right better than they could drive a gun right to left or whatever. Some people are completely direction agnostic. I will tell you that I've shot a bunch of plate racks in my life, like a bunch. And I shoot all my plate racks left to right if given my own opportunity. So because I'm a strong bias left to right shooter, that is why I chose to shoot the right USPSA first and the left USPSA second. UPS man's here, Misha. Got some more surefire. So if I shoot him first and shoot him second, I'm oriented where I wanted to be on the racks. If I had done left to right on paper, and it's a very wide transition, like a full body shift. So I wasn't gaining anything driving the gun left to right on the paper. So right to left puts me set up right for the steel. Hush, Mish. So I was really pinging on this. The guy running the stage is a very, very accomplished shooter. Like several of you guys know who this dude is or whatever. I didn't know who he was other than dude could shoot, right? Carry optics guy. I talked about him in the first video, Yan Lee. So he was running the timer, and it was a Pocket Pro 2, and it had timed out from the last squad going through. My man probably ain't poor. He's probably got a CED 700, 7000, whatever, BFG 9000 Pro timer, and he ain't down with that cheap ass plastic Pocket Pro. So I mentally checked myself into the game. I was hands down. They reminded me my hands had to be up here. That freaked me out. Dude gives me standby, and then he starts hitting the buzzer, and nothing's happening. and he didn't tell me to relax, but I can hear talking going on behind me. What in the heck is happening? So at some point, I figure I'm probably not going to get fired, DQ'd, whatever, fired, if I turn around. So I kind of check, make sure my gun's not going to fall out of the holster, whatever, and I kind of turn around to see what's going on. And I see 3 hogs looking at a wristwatch. And these guys are all probably high-end competitors that don't use no bunk-ass Pocket Pro 2. So I had to step out of my box and turn on the Pro Timer for myself. Any semblance of mental preparation for this stage was gone at that point. I was already freaking the F out and holding on by the ragged edge. And now I'm out of the game. Now I'm out of the game. I should have taken 15 or 20 seconds minimum after I got back into that box, turn the timer on, got back into the box. He hit the button twice to test it as I was turning back around, and the buzzer went off twice. And on the second time, you can actually hear me on video go, because I was wanting to snatch for the gun, but I knew that really wasn't it. Like I knew that, but like I was that frazzled and jacked up at that point. So I just got my damn hands up. I just got my hands up, and kind of, I think I might have turned around and done one like faking it. Like, oh yeah, all these other professionals, they're doing this mental thing and they're playing the stage in their head or whatever. I was the mimicking monkey. Like I wasn't really like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. Okay, all the competitive guys do that before they get in the box. But the mental aspect of checking in with that last bit of dry fire, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. I was mimicking human behavior. I was not executing a last-minute cognitive load of visualizing what that was going to look like once the buzzer went off. Totally, completely mentally checked out. So buzzer goes off. I draw the gun. Let's watch the video so I can give you guys some timelines so you can see some of these finer nuances here. I draw at when does I draw? It's a 1 and 14-second video, YouTube time. And I'm still dicking around with the timer at 38 seconds.
Are you ready? Stand by.
52 seconds. So 52 seconds into this video is when I finally get the buzzer and get my gun out. The first thing that I saw was kind of a crappy draw. Stop. Go back. So at 53 seconds, this is another thing that I learned from back in the day, and I don't know if it helped me or hurt me or whatever. You will see dudes, especially amped up meathead SWAT guys and commandos and whatever, they will turn and face the threat. So that's a pretty wide target array. But they will orient themselves in the box, and you'll see them like a caged tiger, like, come on, man, I'm going to own you, I'm going to own you, I'm going to own you. And, like, they're all about that target. And then they realize as they start to turn that their body is out of position, and they have to contort their chassis, their turret from their chassis base to sometimes an uncomfortable angle, and it results in either push shots or pull shots off to the side. So when I'm doing wide transitions, and I teach this in my press check class, I try to orient center so that I'm only loading my body an equidistance each direction. And obviously with a rifle, because you have to get the muzzle further out, you have to turn further. You can't compensate with any off angle with your shoulders on your isosceles base of your pistol. With the rifle, the whole turret has to move. I'll cheat towards what we call the hard side, or the firing side with the rifle. I will orient more in that direction so that it's an easier load on my waist and my core muscles. So I'll drive the rifle right. So I'll be probably 60-40 or 70-30, cheating towards the right. On this drill, I kept it dead center, which I don't think was bad. But at 53 seconds, I pinched the fat. What does pinching the fat means? It means when you have love handles, like I have, you got that back strap. As you come in with a rigid duty belt, especially if you have a plate carrier, your plate carrier and your rigid duty belt smash the fold of skin in between each other, and it's painful. So we call that pinching the fat, when you take your upper torso and you contort it or move it to the side. So I cleared like I was drawing a duty weapon with armor on. So I was creating an open spot to get the gun high up when no open spot was necessary. I was fighting neural pathway versus fighting the fight that I was in. I've got an open class holster. The thing's wide open on the front, man. Get your hand on it and rake it up and get it in front of your eyes. And all of the extraneous movement of the core and the torso that then have to be recompensated, it's all time. I'm burning time on the clock, and there is no hundredths of a second to sacrifice on this drill. It's too close. It's too fast. This is what I don't do. This is the Achilles heel of my ability to apply my practical performance to the conditions that are here. If I had to shoot 6 dudes in a room that close, I would be shooting them slower than I'm shooting them now. But in this competition where speed is king, everybody else is allowed even less accountability for their shots. And so they're going to be able to throttle it up that much more. The further the targets get away from me and the smaller the strike zones go, the higher the probability that I'm going to do well on that stage, because they have to slow down. I'm shooting my same pace, but they're coming slower to me. And so the parity is closer. The faster that they can shoot, the further away they're getting from me, because I'm stuck in first gear with my dot not allowing me to go faster. So I drew and punched out after pinching the fat and having that extra shift and upright. And then I had an experience that I have not had before, and it's another example of the cognitive overload that I was dealing with at that moment. I did not reset this gun. I don't know if I've ever had a dead trigger on a single action pistol, like ever. Do you know how little travel you have to go to reset this thing? It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. But I managed to get myself a dead trigger. So I fire, and it'll happen in at 55 seconds. At 55 seconds-ish, 54, 55 seconds, I fire, and then I reset or not, and I squeezed again, but I was already checking out to go to the next target. And that is based off the AAR feedback that I'm getting from my gamer buddies about confirming hits. And I had just done it with that slow bunk ass run the stage prior. And I was like, dude, you're parking your sights, you're getting a third sight picture, and then you're moving the gun. Your splits before were complete dog shit. All these people behind you are going to burn this thing down. You need to fire and forget it. And you need to keep that gun moving, you old motherfucker, or you're not going to do well on this classifier. You must burn it. And so I actually was moving the gun before my brain even registered that the weapon didn't discharge. I pulled the trigger like it was dry fire. I was like, yep, pulled the trigger. That's my second trigger press. I'm out. I'm out. And I left the right target on array 1 without firing a second shot. So now I'm in this conundrum. I go over and I'm thinking about all of this in real time. Like, I just deviated from my plan. How do I fix this? In these micro hundredths of a second, I'm making cognitive decisions while I'm trying to shoot the damn gun. So get over to the left because that's where the gun's going anyway. Give me 2. Okay. Let's run the plate rack and then make it on the end. That'll be the most efficient thing to do. Aha! Mandatory magazine change between switching arrays. So now I'm going to the first piece of steel, and I was about to leave the paper to go to the first piece of steel, and I remembered you're going to buy yourself a second mag change if you do that. Unacceptable. So I come off the steel and drive the gun visually, come off the steel and drive the gun all the way back to the right and shoot this target again. So I fired 1. Came across about right here, and you can actually see the hiccup in my muzzle. There was a hiccup for just a fraction of a second where I considered stopping the gun and driving it back, and I actually thought that deceleration and movement back was going to be longer, and so I just continued to slew the firearm. But you can see when my brain figured out that a second round didn't go off. It's in the video, and it's clear as day. So I drive the gun across, do my 2, and then wanted to go here, burn this, and come back, which would have been the most efficient thing if this was all one array. Obviously, I wouldn't have gone that way anyway. I would have gone here and across, or here and across, whatever. But I'm trying to now turn chicken shit into chicken salad, and that was my plan. In the time that it took to slew the gun over here, I'm going to pop this, run this, come back. And then I remembered the stage matches directives that anytime you switch arrays, mandatory mag change is involved. So I fire my 2, I get my mandatory mag change in there, and maybe some of this decision was while I was getting the gun hot again. Mag change wasn't bad. I practiced it for 3 hours the other night. Could it be faster? Obviously. It's a hot dog down the hallway. I could put a funnel on this thing. Probably will put a funnel on this thing. But, big mag well, slide forward, reload. Didn't have to worry about slide stop. So top the gun off. I'm sorry. I had to go back and shoot again. Because if I had mag changed and started still, I would add mag change again. So I fired my 2, made the decision to come back, fired my 1, and then reloaded and got on the plate rack. On the plate rack or the popper rack, I was moving the gun faster than I normally move the gun. And so my shots got out in front of the steel. I hit 1 and 2. Oops. Where'd you guys go there? I hit 1 and 2, and I missed 3 and 4, and I missed them off in between. So the dot was I was driving the gun faster than I was pulling the trigger. So Mike, hit, Mike coming back the other direction, and then hit, and then hit. So I fired 3 additional shots, or 50% hits on the poppers. And that is strictly based on the feedback that I'm getting from Tim Heron. I need to recalibrate how I'm processing information when it comes to the integrated active firing. I shoot steel like a competitor. As far as I'm just accepting flash sight pictures and moving on with life. I need to be shooting paper more like I shoot steel, and I need to be shooting steel more like I shoot paper. This is the only run where the steel that I missed was in the middle. Almost all that, I think every other run that I missed a piece of steel, it was the last piece of steel. And that is a sign of checking out of the drill early. Like boom, 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 boom. Things are going so smooth. I'm good. What's the next problem? And I'm checking out while I still need to be focused on what I'm doing. Focused on the process, not focused on the outcome. And so on my plate racks, which is the next stage of the stage after, on my plate racks, I'm getting 5 out of 6. I'm missing the last plate. So this was kind of an anomaly, and it was more of a gun thing. And I dialed it back after I missed those 2. I dialed it back, slowed the gun down, and broke the shots clean. But then I came back and just tried to make up for time. So 3 additional shots fired and an entire additional slew back and forth across the lane. So between 1 and 102 is when I miss the steel and come back and have to hit it again. The drill's over in 102. So that's it. That was me like completely melting down on this classifier. And there were some things mentally that I could have changed, specifically relating to letting the start stop thing with the pro timer get into my head. But I had enough emotional baggage going into this bay that I had my hands full. So I needed to ignore all of that. And normally I do pretty good. Like at work when my competitors were like, talking smack or trying to get into my head or whatever, I was always really good at work about, I'm not competing against any of these guys. I'm competing against myself. But when I was saying those things at work, I didn't have my brand reputation on the line for, the entire world to see. And so I created a self-fulfilling prophecy in that, I wasn't focused. I didn't have enough focus, and I made mistakes, like terrible, terrible, terrible mistakes. I got done with this, and my wife didn't understand what a classifier was. I was the first shooter. She thought that she saw steel going down fast, and she's got a smile on her face. And I walked back, and I looked her straight in the face, and I was like, I just destroyed my business. And she would not talk to, like, she could see it in my eyes, and she walked away from me and would not speak to me for about 20 minutes because she thought I was about to fucking eat my gun. So that's that. That's what letting the mental aspect of the game get into your head. That's the consequences of that. I am probably wired way too tight for this sport. Honestly, I am probably wired way too tight for this sport. But that's all excuses. At the end of the day, it's like, what was your time? What was your time? What were your hits? Everything to the left or to the right of that is erroneous. And not enough people understand that about life. Nobody gives a fuck about anything. And I say the same thing to competitors or to police officers when we talk about using deadly use of force. The district attorney does not give a fuck where you aimed your pistol. They don't care. They care about casings under little Dixie cups on the ground and bullet tracks through bodies in the morgue. That's what they care about. So if you are so jacked up trigger pull wise that you have to elevate your firearm 45 degrees up and right and shank it 18 inches to shoot a dude through the heart, you're going to get a thumbs up, pat on the back, shooting within policy, you're good to go. Nobody cares where you aimed. They only care where you hit. Nobody in life cares about the process. Everybody in life cares about the outcome. So when you step up into a classifier and you get inside of your own head like that, you're a failure as a man and a human being, because that's what you got. You now have scores that are going into a national database that show your failure as a fucking man. And so you just better get used to that. And you better take that shame for being a pathetic, worthless fucking human being, and you better focus it in a direction to be less fucking worthless next time. And that's all I got for stage 3, Chuck's first ever qualifier. Questions about that, bitches, gripes, complaints. If somebody wants to comment about a cognitive or human performance reason why the steel array first, followed by the 2 papers, is a more appropriate course of action or whatever, I would love to hear from accomplished shooters that have a different outlook that maybe I'm not seeing about how to game this drill. I think that if I had executed my plan anywhere near proficiently, I would not have done as horrible as I did. So how horrible did I do? Let's look at the metrics. Masterclass production guy. Todd Anderson took it in 5.20 seconds. I shot it in 9 and change. He how is that possible? This thing's got Charlie Delta mics on it. I don't understand. 7 Alpha, 1 Charlie, 1 Delta, 1 Mike. I didn't think, I thought steel was just hit it or miss it. I don't get it. I don't get how practice score is scoring this. But let me go to me. I don't know where I am. It says I got 10.0000 and 901. So I don't know what these deltas and mics. That had hits on steel must be alphas. Okay, that's what it is. So my man that won, my man that won, and this is my frustration. Like, and I can't be frustrated because it's the rules of the game, right? My man that won hit all the steel, so he gets 6 alphas. He hit 1 A-zone hit on paper, and then a Charlie Delta and a complete miss. But he did it in 5.20 seconds. That is the level of, like, get him out there that I've got to get on board with. Like, is there cardboard in the RMR? Send it. 5.20 seconds. Okay. Well, this makes me feel better. Oh, this is alphabetically. Man, Todd Anderson didn't win this shit. Sorry. I'm fucking sorry. let me dude, I was about to fucking hang myself. But he did have a fast ass time though. I saw that number 2 had an 8.81 with all hits. And I was like, wait, how the fuck did he take second? And I was only 0.2 of a second behind him and took, last or whatever. I got to figure out how to do this. I need to go to old results. Over old results, paper poppers combined, not review. There we go. All right, Greggy Purcell. He did it in 471 with a damn rifle. Oh, Tan Loke, Grandmaster, open class. He got 49 points. So I'm assuming that's three A's and a Charlie and a major power factor. That'd give you 49, right? He did it in 494 with a damn pistol. With 3 A's and a whatever. Let me pull up his shit. I got to go back and hit new results and then go to my man and then click on him as a person and then go to paper and whatever. And that shit still won't give me his stuff. Balls. It's not giving me his. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, he got 9 and 1. All right, so my gamer math is starting to work better. So, yeah, he got 9 and 1 in 491. And oh, by the way, his run is on the practice scores or the YouTubes or whatever.
Are you ready? Stand by.
So the cool thing is those pairs don't sound unachievable. Like pew 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 pew. The steel was real efficient, but his two papers did not sound bad. Like when I hear that, I'm not like, oh, I could never do that. Nah, I could probably do that. So anyway. This is going to be a consistent thing with me. If it is a shorter stage, I'm going to go further down in the standards. If it's a longer stage, there's more fudge time in there for me to take that, to keep doing what I'm doing with my gun and not fall out of the competition. But when I'm taking, hundredths of a second in decision making, over confirming sites, over confirming follow through, whatever, and there's only 5 seconds out there to play with, those hundredths turn into tenths, turn into half seconds very, very quickly, even without all of my mistakes and everything that I was doing. So anyway, we're talking 43 minutes about some shit that took me 9 seconds and the winner to 4 3/4 seconds to accomplish. But I guess that's what we got to do on this. So anyway, that's it on my fucking self-degradation of my very first qualifier ever. So when you guys see me pop up, I can't remember how many. You got to do 2, 3, 5, something. You got to do so many classifiers for them to average your shit and tell you, yeah, on an average you suck. So I got to go suck some more so that I can on average suck. So when you guys see me pop up on there as a, whatever F class fucking shooter, you guys will know. Yeah, we seen it. We seen it that day that fucking he got in his head and fucking melted down. So that's all I got for you guys. I'm going to do one more video. So let me upload stage 4 and recock and send the link for the live for stage 4 to the $10 guys. Get this one posted for everybody else, and we'll do one more video and fucking call it for the day. All right. Y'all have a good one. I'm out.